Welcome to Onigiri Travels. Today we're going to stay at Hoshino KAI Hakone. Please subscribe and like my channel. Thank you so much for your support. After arriving in Japan the previous day, I woke up to a wonderful sunrise and had breakfast at the Sheraton Club with my grandmother and shared breakfast together before heading to the Hakone. We then went to Shinjuku Station to board the Odakyu Romancecar to Hakone. I wanted to share a few details about the Hakone Day Pass tickets through Odakyu. Hi, this is Ty from Onigiri Travels. Today is September the 6th on Saturday, and traveling to Hakone Yumoto with my grandmother in Japan, and we're going to go explore the different types of hot springs and the onsen and what it has to offer. Currently we're on the Odakyu Romancecar train that goes from Shinjuku to Odawara and Hakone Yumoto. We got one of these things called the Hakone Free Pass. It's not really free, but it's for 2 days, it's about 6,100 Japanese yen, 3 days, 6,500 yen. But one thing to note, you have to add in a 1,200 yen limited express surcharge to ride on the Odakyu Romancecar. So that's one of the caveats. I'll list the website link shown below in the future. And if you have other questions, place them into the comments, and more to come pretty soon. See you there. See you later. Bye. Finally, we're making our final approach to Odawara and the Hakone region. After several hours of transportation from Tokyo, we finally arrived at Hoshino Hakone. Welcome to the Hoshino KAI Hakone in Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan. Let me take you inside a bit. Here's the front desk, and here's the front lobby area, where we do have some wooden handcrafted items, as we can see here. And we're about to do our check-in process shortly with my grandma.
山が見えて
いいじゃない? So this is the tea and the coffee station at the Hoshino KAI Hakone. Okay. This is where one of the Hoshino KAI discovery places actually take place to make the wooden boxes actually. So I'm going to share a really quick tour of this. So these are the type of wooden types bowls and boxes that they make. It's actually Hakone Yumoto's specialty. So take a peek here. It's the Yosegi wood, like decorative type plates and bowls. They have all kinds of stuff here. After check-in, let's now take a tour of our room. I wanted to give a comprehensive room tour of the Hoshino KAI Hakone with the outdoor bath. But first thing first, let's go to the this room to the left. So this is actually the typical restrooms with all kinds of like lotions. And then we've got the bathroom here, the typical stuff. Let's go into the living room really quick. So this is the actual bed that me and Grandma will stay on. So it looks very, very plushy. There's also like a mini work desk. I may get some work done. Here is the actual closet, and that has the yukatas. So one has the overall jacket, and here's the actual pajamas right here. And here's the safe. I think we're in good shape here. Here's the living room with the TV. And then here's the actual spacious sofa bed. And then here is the actual bathroom, the actual shower room. Here's the balcony area where there's the private onsen, where I'll be taking a quick onsen bath soon. Hey everyone, gonna go into the my own private baths, my own rooftop onsen bath. It's really hot in here, so I'm gonna take a quick bath before I go to the wooden box making class later today with my grandma. So we have the top floor view on the fourth floor of the Hakone Yumoto River. As you can hear, the river below, and just gonna enjoy a little bit of time in the my own onsen, and my grandma will come in and enjoy the onsen a little bit later. Gonna relax for a little bit. Ooh, ooh, this is nice. Ooh, ooh. I found out that at this Hoshino KAI Hakone, there are actually only 2 rooms that actually have your own private outdoor bath. We call it in Japanese Rotenburo Onsen. So again, I'll repeat, Rotenburo Onsen. That's like the outdoor open air baths. And the place we'll go to tomorrow actually had a little bit more of these, but more coming soon. I'm gonna need to get out pretty soon and get ready for the wooden box making class, so stay tuned. In no time, my grandma and I were headed back to the lobby for the wood carving class. Not too long after, my grandma and I headed to the Hoshino KAI Hakone's full dinner course meal.
は甘酒のビーチソース、次は鶏肉と柚子、crab and greens, mashed tofu salad, soup dish, sashimi, steamed dish, hot pot. So we got a long way.
Feel free to pause and take a closer look at the menu at your own leisure. We started off with the amazake vichi soisi. We had the steamed egg custard, fukiyose style. We then had the sashimi fish, freshest catch of the day, followed by the steamed lotus root dumpling.
あ、そのまま。牛肉のすき焼き。
すき焼きの起源でございます。オリジン。
オリジン。
これが昔、すき焼きと言いますと薄い牛肉を想像されるかと思うんですが、このように厚切りをしている理由がですね、昔冷蔵庫など長期保存する技術がなかったので、このように消費を早めるために厚切りをしていたと言われています。また味噌で味付け本日してるんですが、これも当時まだ牛肉を食べ慣れてなかった日本人のために濃い味噌の親しみのある味付けで食べていたと言われております。なので本日は普通のすき焼きとはまたちょっと違った牛鍋でお楽しみください。温泉タワー
This dish turned out really, really delicious and fresh, and enjoyed this. The next came with the rice and the pickled plum soup, also was refreshing. And we ended with the tiramisu with kuromame soybeans. This one was one of the best desserts I've had. And finally, Grandma and me at the meal. After a nice dinner, we now went to the onsen bath. Here's the access for the ladies, as well as for the gentlemen. And time for some onsen bath time.
So right outside the public baths, we actually have ice cream. So let's open it up. You got all sorts of popsicles here. You have the kataura lemon water. Tastes more like lemonade. And you also have hojicha or barley tea. So this is kind of rare to have at the onsen hot springs.
After a very good night's sleep and an early bath, it was time for breakfast. There was a table set up already for us so we could sit next to each other so we could hear each other better. Here's the Hakone Breakfast that has like the omelets and all kinds of specialty goods, and here it is shown below.
美味しい？美味しい？
美味しい美味しい。
あ、素晴らしいわ。今は朝ごはん食べてます。Getting some breakfast in before another long day. I'll show it today. And there's a huge list on the menu from amakaze, the tofu, the Japanese omelet, the grilled fish, clammy dried radishes, simmered beef with ginger, shiitake mushrooms with yam cake, kelp and plum, fish cake with edamame. And there's also fresh vegetables and curated meats being cooked here right now. So, gonna get going with the breakfast. Itadakimasu. Itadakimasu.
I'd like to take a moment to provide a review of the stay at Hoshino. The accessibility and location was very good. I give this a 9 out of 10 because of its proximity to the train station. The food quality is as a top-notch Michelin star. I give this a 10 out of 10. In terms of the onsen, the private bath was very good. The public bath, not so accessible for my grandma. I give this a 9 out of 10. In terms of customer service, I give this a 9.5 out of 10 because they were very attentive to my grandmother's needs and our overall needs for the stay. How much did I actually pay to stay one night at the Hoshino KAI Hakone? For this one, I paid 764 USD or 121,300 Japanese yen or 12,000 yen. You can also book via Chase Travel Portal, but the room type and Chase Point Award Points slots are very limited. Please stay tuned for our stay at the Hoshino KAI Sengokuhara in the next YouTube video. Now stay tuned. How did I book this stay at the Hoshino KAI Hakone? To give you a overview and a tour of the Hoshino Resorts website. So you go to hoshinoresorts.com/en for English. There's also other languages like Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. So first we'll go to the brands. There's the Hoshinoya, there's the Kai, there's Raisonnaire, Omo, and BEB, Lucy, and other types of properties. But we're going to go to the Kai for the purpose of this video. And we're going to go to Hoshino Hakone. So we're going to go to the brand website and we will go to the Hoshino Resorts KAI Hakone. So we'll wait until this loads. And I actually like to share with you how to book the stay at Hoshino KAI Hakone. So KAI Hakone, and there's 21 other properties. Then as you can see, there's the home page. There's like the dining, itinerary, activities, rooms, direction, and at a glance, what the Hoshino KAI and or other Hoshino KAI properties amenities entail. You can also look at like dining. So there's like specific dining times for dinner and for breakfast. You can view the activities tab. You can see whether it's for free, which is the KAI Cultural Discovery, which I went to earlier. There's also the type of rooms. We'll go into that pretty soon. There's directions and also at a glance. So at a glance is pretty important because they do have the specifics with respects to what time things are. For example, we got, there we go. So we got like the number of rooms, the occupancy level, the restaurants, cafe, and lounge. Onsen bath hours are pretty important because it's kind of limited. So 2:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. and then 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Between 10 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., they're closed for cleaning. They don't have a shuttle service, but they do have limited slots on taxi to take the customers back to the Hakone Yumoto station for complimentary. But sign up early because the spots are limited. Pets are actually allowed within Japan to book. Parking is free. And online payments, fortunately, they accept a lot of types of payments. Let's now go to the check availability section for the reservation. So let's say my grandma and I were to book again. So we can look at this. So the yellow triangle, there's like very few left. Ones with the X is no check-in, probably, and then not available anymore. Anything with a dash is closed. The green circles are what I really look for because that's when there's more room availability. So if we were to simulate the actual situation of booking this for September, early part of September. So let's say the weekdays tend to be a little bit more affordable than the weekends. Like booking on Saturdays in Japan is the most expensive. So typically I try to book a Thursday or Friday. So let's try Friday to Saturday. So let's say Friday to Saturday. Let's book one room. Book one room for one night. I would then sort this by low to high, and then obviously the Japanese style room without the private onsen, that's actually more affordable. 7,400 yen for if it's in USD, that's divided by the exchange rate, and then you can check the cancellation policy. Of course, booking through the website, it's not truly cancelable. However, you're able to change up to 3 times, but it depends on the plan that you do pick. There's the Japanese style room. Obviously, I choose the dinner, bed, and breakfast options. So pay attention to that because each of the options will be different. Japanese style room with a river view. Japanese style room with a river view, TB2. This room here, Western style room with outdoor bath, is the one that my grandma and I reserved. So this is just a preview of the room. And then these are the features, like there's the bed dimension and having internet, room amenities, including like a Japanese tea set, bath amenities. And then the price for this situation is 98,000 Japanese yen total for 2 people at 49,000 Japanese yen each person. And I will reveal at the end how much it would cost total in yen and in US dollars. There's the Japanese style suite with outdoor bath. That one is extremely limited amount of rooms at the Hoshino KAI Hakone. So just as a heads up, book early as you can. And hope this is helpful. I will now go over details how to book the Hakone Pass as well as the train schedules. Your Romancecar website at odakyu-global.com/passes, and then there is the Hakone Free Pass. Starts at 7,100 Japanese yen, so we can view the details. You can buy the tickets online, and that will be typically given in the mobile app, whereas if you were to buy at the station directly, you can buy the paper copies. So you can buy online. So there's the instructions here in English, and then you can buy on site, and you can have the paper pass. There's also pamphlets in English, en français, and Espanol. And then you can visit all kinds of places. The shrine, the checkpoints, and the more deluxe passes would cover more territories and more areas that you can visit. But this is the basic areas that we can explore with the so-called Hakone Free Pass ticket. So we can ride the cogwheel train from Odawara, Hakone Yumoto to Gora, and then the cable car through Owakudani, and then Togendai, where there's the Lake Ashi with the view of Mount Fuji. And then, let's look at this one. And then there's a separate surcharge for the limited express Romancecar to Hakone and back to Shinjuku, Tokyo. So that's a surcharge of another 1,200 yen. So you can view details. And with the Hakone Free Pass purchase, it's much more cheaper. So as you can see in the photos, the interior of the cabin of the train is pretty comfortable. Comfortable seating. Make sure you obtain seat reservations because seats do fill up pretty quickly. So yeah, and this is the route of the Romancecar, and here are the current charges total. So let's say, for example, the route that, let's say, my grandma and I took, Shinjuku to Hakone Yumoto, one way for each person will be 8,300 yen. So you can convert that to dollars, Canadian dollars, euros, and Swiss francs, or another currency of your choosing. So this is at baseline how much that would cost. Some would go to Kamakura, so there's also another also another price. Quickly about the limited express Romancecar timetable schedule. So as we scroll down on this page, we see Shinjuku to Hakone Yumoto, and then you can put to Odawara and Hakone Yumoto. So let's say you were visiting during the weekdays. These are the number of trains available through Shinjuku and then Odawara and Hakone Yumoto. On weekends and holidays, there's actually more trains available for being able to schedule your time. And then going back to the weekdays, these will be in the AM, so 6 to 12 p.m., and then 12 to 5 p.m. departures from Shinjuku, and then more evening. And then you can also have the weekends and holidays. You can also manage your time and schedule your trip back to Shinjuku. And typically, many travelers travel during the afternoon back towards Shinjuku in Tokyo. So something to note, seat reservations are highly recommended and encouraged because the seats do fill up pretty quickly. The timetables are also available in PDF just for your information, and it is written in both Nihongo, Japanese, and English on the right-hand side. So bound for Odawara weekdays typically would be page 1, and from the morning through the afternoon, and then bound for Shinjuku on the weekdays, and then likewise they have the bound for Odawara and bound for Shinjuku also on the weekend and holidays. So this is about it for the timetables, and take a look, and I will provide the links in the description.